to say that everything begins and ends in your mind. We talked about the cognitive benefits that coffee and caffeine naturally are going to have. But what if you could take that to a whole nother level? What if you could take your mental acuity and your cognitive abilities, your cognitive ignition, and take that to a whole nother level? And that's exactly what we've done through a program which we call Cognition. And Cognition, we break it down in cognitive ignition. Cognition, we break it down in 3 parts, okay? And those 3 parts are going to be CTS 90, which is the training, CNS 90, which is the nutrition, and CES 90, which is the education. And the thing that I'm going to spend the most amount of time on today is going to be the benefits of the training aspect of your mind. And so a lot of people, you know, they ask a lot of questions, and they really want to know, what is it about cognition? Why is it that cognition is going to benefit me? Well, again, we've already mentioned how caffeine can stimulate the brain and how caffeine can stimulate energy, right? Well, what if there was something that you could not just take, but do on a daily basis that was going to trigger your brain to function at a higher level? The question I want you to ask yourself is, if there was a way in 6 minutes a day that you could get your brain to function and operate at a higher level, is that something that would sound interesting to you? And if you said yes, then stay tuned, because we're about to move into a little bit of information here. But we know that we have to feed your brain with the right nutrients, right? We know that you need fatty fishes for your omegas. We know that you need green vegetables. You know that you need certain berries and fruits that are going to provide your brain and your body and your cells with the nutrients that it needs. And then, of course, you've got coffee and tea, which enhance it with the caffeine and all the natural effects of antioxidants, etc., that are going to come within that, right? So we know the power of nutrition in our body, right? And so you may not necessarily know the power of education. And I'm going to point out a few things here. And this is what we do as ORGANO as a company within our CES platform, which is the education system, cognitive education system. And we talk about diets, the best diets for cognitive fitness, okay? In other words, what can you eat that is going to allow your brain to function at a high level? Just think about that. When you think of what foods to eat to get your brain functioning at a high level, what do you think about, right? You probably don't think of anything. That's why we have taken cognitive ignition through Cognition by ORGANO, and we have actually gone out and put this together so you guys can understand it better. The cognitive effects of nutraceuticals with ginseng and bacopa benchmarks against modafinil. Modafinil is a pharmaceutical drug, but what if you could have some cognitive effects between nutraceuticals of ginseng and bacopa? Okay, so just stay tuned. Some of the best nootropic products of bacopa and ginseng that are on the market have those products in there. The acute effect of caffeinated black coffee on cognition and mood in healthy young and older adults. So how coffee and caffeine can help enhance your mood, right? Coffee, but not caffeine, has positive effects on cognition. Coffee, right? Again, we're talking about the antioxidants. We're talking about the different acids that are in coffee that benefit the cognitive abilities of your mind. And then how coffee intake in midlife and risk of dementia and its neuropathologic correlates, okay? And so what we're going to do is educate folks on how certain aspects and different health challenges can be benefited by not just taking our product, but just overall consuming coffee and consuming the right foods overall. And then, of course, the natural landscape of cognitive wellness in itself. And so I said a minute ago, if you could strengthen your brain as little as 6 minutes a day, would you be open to it? And here's what I want to share with you. The answer is you absolutely can. We have a software, okay, that you buy, you purchase, and you use it unlimited for an entire year subscription. It downloads onto your computer. You have 3D glasses that allow you to use it and function at a higher level. So while you're doing this program, and what you're doing is you're tracking different balls, multiple balls, you're tracking them across the screen. And you might say, well, Brett, what is that going to do for me, right? What is the benefit for me? Well, here's the deal. What if it could help your attention and focus? What if you take a pharmaceutical drug for attention and focus? What if you could enhance that, okay, by CTS90, by our software? What if your ability to multitask, right? And some people say multitasking is a bit of a myth, but here's the reality. What if you could be more aware of all the things that are going on? If you've got kids, maybe you're watching kids. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're at Chick-fil-A and you're taking them to eat and you're watching this kid over here get a drink refill and this kid over here that is inside of Chick-fil-A playing in the little playground area, right? That is a ability of multitasking. So you can be aware of what is going on around you. Working memory, okay? If you're in business or in sales and you want to understand, hey, how can I remember? You know, I have people ask me all the time, Brett, how do you remember the name of this person? And how did you remember that little Bobby or little Susie was in dance or in baseball? And how did you remember, you know, what you're going to do tomorrow and the next day and the next week without actually grabbing your calendar, right? And so that is working memory, decision making and reasoning. If you're an executive or you're, you know, making decisions, if you're a professional athlete, or maybe you have children that are athlete, right? Peripheral vision, situational awareness. Again, situational awareness, kind of back to what I said before, multitasking, looking at different things that are going on around you at the same time. Response inhibition, fluid intelligence, okay? Just being able to have a conversation with somebody and recall certain facts, go back in time and remember certain detailed information, and just the overall cognitive flexibility or thinking outside the box. If anything that I've touched on right now, okay, if anything that I touched on is something that you would say, man, I really want to get better at that, or man, I would really like to do that. Well, here's the deal. You have the potential, okay? You have the potential with our CTS90 tracking system to do these things. And you might say, well, Brett, that sounds like a good pitch. You know, that sounds like something that I could potentially want to do, but how do I know that this is not just a sales pitch? You know, bouncing, tracking balls across a screen. I don't really know. Well, what about this? Have you ever heard of NASA? What about the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Army, Washington Nationals, Oakland Athletics, Los Angeles Lakers, okay? Manchester United soccer team, Berkeley, right? Have you heard of any of these names? Because here's what I want to share with you. Matt Ryan. I would encourage you to go on to YouTube and type in Matt Ryan NeuroTracker. And what you're going to find is that there are professional athletes that are attached to these different organizations and different organizations that have utilized this technology and have astronomically increased their performance, okay? Just in a study alone, there's been several studies. We're talking 50 plus studies that have been done on this technology. So this is not just something that we think is cool that we want to sell you. This is something we know works, and we want to provide it to the marketplace so that people can experience their cognitive ignition at a higher level. But there have been studies with Manchester United, right? Just think about how I just did that. I'm talking about one thing, I'm going to the next thing, and now I'm circling back and going back to the Manchester United, right? I can tell you, typically in the past, I would rant down and get lost and start talking about something completely different, but I was able to stay on track, right? So Manchester United, this is something that was a study that was done on passing within soccer, and that they had like a 15, I think, don't quote me on the exact number, but I think it was like 12 to 15% increase in passing ability for their soccer players. And what's really unique and powerful about all of this is not only can you take the technology of NeuroTracker with cognitive ignition, you can also take our products, Black Coffee, King of Coffee, two of our Organo classics that we just talked about, green tea, Organoderma lucidum spore powder, right? You can take these and use them as an additional benefit to help increase your numbers and help increase your cognitive abilities, not only while you're training your brain, but as you're going out there and going and using these products on a daily basis, using these products, using this technology, absolutely proven results that you're going to accelerate at a higher level. Me, myself, I have actually taken the green tea. I have done the Cognition CTS90 without any of our Organo certified products. And then with the cognitive certified products, and my scores have gone through the roof when I am consuming these products. So what does that tell you? What that tells you is that when you're putting our products in your body and you're working your brain out with cognition and CTS 90 with NeuroTracker, you are putting yourself in a category all by yourself. Not only are we a category all by ourselves, but you're literally putting yourself in a category of folks that are aware and thinking about their cognitive wellness and their cognitive performance. So if you're somebody who wants to focus on cognitive wellness and cognitive performance, well, you can definitely do it by buying your black coffee, your king of coffee, your green tea, your spore powder. Buying that today, you're going to help your cognitive abilities. But if you really want to take it to a whole nother level, then you can get the entire cognition software system of CTS 90 for $300. In addition to your $300, it's 15% shipping to get your 3D glasses that allows you to experience this at a whole nother level. Inside, you're going to have a dashboard that tracks every single one of your sessions. Okay, every single one of your 6-minute sessions is tracked. You create a baseline and it tracks your progress. So you literally are able to track your cognitive process as you go through the program. So I want to encourage you, okay, if anything that I mentioned today strikes a nerve with you, okay, if you want to have more attention and focus, if you want to be able to multitask more, if you want to be able to juggle kids and juggle conversations and have a better working memory and remember what family functions are going on and what you had to do and all the different tasks stay-at-home moms have to do within a day. If you're in sales or marketing or anything like that, and you want to take your game to another level, I'm going to encourage you, take the plunge and invest your $2.99. It's 80 cents a day. If you're drinking energy drinks or coffee or anything on a daily basis, we're talking less than $1 per day that you can invest 6 minutes. If you have a book, I'm a huge fan of personal development, right? I buy books all the time. This is a book I just bought at Mardell Christian Bookstore the other day, right? What is this? 12 bucks, okay? $12.99 that this book was, okay? And I'm investing that. So that's almost 50 cents a day right there. What if you could spend 80 cents a day and take your cognitive abilities to the next level? And that's exactly what you're going to get with CTS 90, with the NeuroTracker X technology. So I want to encourage you to make the decision to get with your distribution partner that brought you to this call or brought you to this Zoom, or if you already have their link and you want to make your purchase, get it today so that you can experience for yourself the benefits that myself and so many other folks are experiencing all across the world. Professional athletes, ladies and gentlemen, professional athletes, people that are doing life at an entire high level, you can now put yourself in a whole nother category with them, with Cognition. So with that being said, I want to invite you to purchase Cognition. I want to invite you to get the products that are going to help you take your cognitive function to the next level. And stay tuned